Yo, boxing aficionados. What's up? What's going on? Hey, yo, check this out, man. I'm looking through. That's my main man. What's his name? Kerry Bradshaw from IOTBA likes to say, I'm scrolling down my articles. But I'm scrolling down YouTube pages, looking for different subjects and boxing and stuff like that. And I'm seeing that it seems like the boxing world is aflame over the victimization of Devin Haney and his father, Bill Haney. It's like they've been victimized by the Australian government, And George Kambosos, has got the government, on his side, and Australians, and this is terrible, and on and on and on. In this world of victimhood, everybody's all of a sudden oppressed and things like that. Nobody wants to take responsibility for their actions, right? And I know I'm going to sound like a hater because page after page after page after page have told the story in much the same way, meaning painting Bill Haney as some kind of victim and unseen forces coming against Devin and things like this. But I'm gonna tell you a very sobering. I'm gonna take you to a sobering perspective, right? A sobering thought, or a sober perspective, because when you're stuck in all this euphoria of victimhood and blame, that's not sober thinking. That's getting stuck in the euphoria of victimhood, of making yourself feel bad. But what it really comes down to is that there are no victims. There are no victims. There's volunteers. And I'm going to tell you why. This fight was signed, by late March. By mid-March, once you knew Lomachenko wasn't going to be able to fight because he's fighting a war and all this, it's another story. But once you know that Lomachenko is not going to take that fight against George Kambosos, so that's about early March, you knew this. You knew that something was afoot with Lomachenko. You knew that there was a really good possibility that you might be the one who chose him. You're Devin Haney, right? You're in the midst of that. You knew that. Then by mid-March, Lomachenko's out of it. They're negotiating with you. You know that certain things have to be detailed, and you make the decision to sign with Top Rank. By late, you knew what's going on. George Kambosos' manager offers you, Peter Khan, offers Devin Haney the same offer he made to Lomachenko, which was actually Igis Klimas. Well, I don't want to get this confused, but Peter Khan offers Devin Haney and his father the opportunity to be to have their training camp in Australia. People don't talk about that. Peter Khan offered Devin Haney and his father the opportunity to go to Australia and have the training camp. They turned it down. I don't know if it was a case of he might not be vaccinated at that point. That could have been a reason why he, chased, because you're supposed to take the first shot and then 20 days later take the second shot. I don't know what his vaccination status at that point was, but for whatever reason, you didn't take, Peter Khan you didn't take Peter Khan up on his offer. Be that as it may, by that point, you knew you had to fight. Bill Haney said that he had been already vaccinated, so it wasn't that. Wouldn't it behoove you to find out about this visa situation way back then? You knew you're going to Australia at some point. You could have done so 10 weeks ago, right? So you can make sure that, your environment, the playing field, deal with any snafus that may get in the way. This is a very important fight for you. You don't want to take that, do your training camp over there so you could get used to the climate of Australia, the gravity of Australia. You're all the way down under. They call it down under. Gravity's different down there. Your body needs adjustments. It's a 20-hour flight. You're going to need a couple of days just to get acclimated to the 20-hour flight, The change of time zones, 20 hours, right? But more importantly, you want to get the lay of the land. Maybe understand what it's like to fight in the morning or in the afternoon rather than in the night. Have your sparring sessions over there. Fly people in, Do whatever you got to do to make yourself as comfortable as possible for the most important fight of your life. You don't want any surprises. Like, conversely, you can rip a page off of Lomachenko's playbook. Igor Klimas, as soon as Lomachenko was in the running for that fight, he right away he offered, we'll do the training camp in Australia. That's the first thing Igor Klimas came up with. That they were going to do the training camp in Australia. If Lomachenko had taken the fight, he would have done his entire 8 weeks in Australia. They were ready for that. That's the commitment to preparation that they had put together as a battle plan to deal with taking full advantage of the opportunity of becoming the undisputed lightweight champion of the world against Kambosos in Kambosos' home stadium. So that's attention to detail. Bill Haney decides to wait 2 weeks before the fight to find out that he can't get a visa. 2 weeks before the fight, you don't think that would have entered your mind? You know how Australia is. This ain't a black thing. This ain't a white thing. Australia is a socialist government. Some of the things that they did in Australia to for the sake of your safety, it's atrocious. People aren't free in Australia. A lot of people don't understand just exactly, how lucky you are to be American, to live in America, where states determine what's best for their residents, despite whatever a federal government decrees. It kind of keeps the government honest. In Australia, they'll just take over your rights, and you can't come out of your house, and you can't come in this country, and you got to get this, and you got to, it's terrible. Bill Haney knows this. You heard all the news of us. It's not the same. And you wait till the last minute to find out what your visa status is? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There are no victims here. Just volunteers. That's your bad. That's your bad. That's your mistake. All right? And I'm supposed to cry you a river for your lack of preparation. You could have done something. You could have had more time to deal with this situation 10 weeks ago. Right? Now your son's going out for the most important fight of his life without his father. And let me tell you something. That's a kid. Devin Haney's a kid. Anybody who tweets out the shit that he does and, is worried about what the Charlos are doing when you have the most important fight of your life, that's a kid. That's a child, who's really, really close to his dad. Attached. Right? Now he's going to fly 20 hours, be alone over there. Apparently he doesn't even have, what's the other guy's name? The guy who used to train Fury. I forget his name. Ben Davison, right? Apparently Ben Davison isn't making the trip either, right? I don't know. Just quote me on that. Maybe he's going to be there for the day of. I don't know. But you're out there by yourself now. And those are things that really is, to me, you're setting up excuses to lose. You're setting up excuses for a loss. Now, you go over there, you lose to Kambosos. Oh, they didn't let his father in the country. And, everything was stacked against him. And blase, and boo-hoo, boo-hoo. When you could have taken care of this 10 weeks ago, you could have at least known what was going on. So if you couldn't get into the country, at least your son could have taken his training camp into the country, make some other arrangements, and begin the process of adjusting to life without his father out there, to training without his father. That's a big adjustment. You're in a new time zone, new climate, surrounded by people who are against you, right? You don't have your father for support, physical, tangible support. It isn't the same to see a motherfucker on a screen, right? Like, oh, we're gonna, video or whatever, FaceTime. It ain't the same. It ain't the same. To hear somebody's voice next to you, their touch, their hug, their pat on your back. It ain't the same thing, right? It's the new reality, the new the new normal. That's what the fuck they're living out there in Australia, right? And I know that doesn't have nothing to do with it, but one thing has anything to do with the other. That it was Bill Haney's, past transgressions with the law that came about, that brought about this situation supposedly. But you gave them an opportunity to make that a situation. You weren't prepared for that. You could have been prepared for that 10 weeks ago. And your son would have, 8 weeks of prepared to mentally to prepare and get acclimated to life without his dad. But you didn't do that. I can't cry you a river because of that. I can't feel sorry for them. I can't. Am I hating for that? Or am I somebody who's, going to hold you accountable for your actions? Accountability. Society is we're forgetting all about accountability. Everybody wants to blame this and blame the other and But you got to take a look in the mirror. What was your role in the situation that you're in? What is your role in the situation that you're in? Because that's the only thing you can change, is the way you handle things moving forward. You can't change the Australian government or anyone who's wronged you. You have to change your preparedness for whatever eventualities befall you, you know. And so I'm sorry, I'm not feeling sorry for them. There are no victims, just volunteers. Preparation is key. This is the most important part. This is the most important fight of your son's life. And you want to wait till 2 weeks out of the fight to take a flight over there? I don't know. I don't understand that. You know, I don't understand that. You want to wait to deal with visa issues now? Really? Come on. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Next level boxing talk, baby. I'm out.